Scene opens on a glistening day in the beautiful streets of London after heavy rainfall. The dim lights flash off the slick pavement. The camera tilts up towards a window in the Ecuadorian embassy, softly glittering with light. A shadow moves back and forth inside. The music grows more intense, signaling that significant events are about to unfold in the embassy. In 2010, the founder of WikiLeaks became a symbol for the world by stating that secrecy is important for many things. By fact, the WikiLeaks documents gained global fame due to the publishing of classified information from power institutions. This included crimes committed, such as the collateral murder video exposing a U.S. military helicopter strike in Iraq and the war logs from Afghanistan.
I see your element. You got about 4 Humvees out along this. You're clear. All right, firing. Line here. When the stage line, let me know when you have it. One shoot. Light them all up.
202 traffic, 260s.
Come on, fire. Hey, Roger. Keep shoot. Hey, you shoot, I'll talk. Hotel 26, Crazy Horse 18.
Crazy Horse 18, this is Hotel 26, over.
Roger. Break. Crazy Horse 18, request permission to engage. I'm picking up the wounded. Yeah, we're trying to get permission to engage. 18, engage. Clear. Come on. Clear.
For his supporters, he became a man of truth and honesty. Assange emerged as a polarizing figure in the world of journalism. His supporters viewed him as a champion of accountability and transparency, while governments worldwide criticized him for recklessness and accused him of endangering national security. The legal challenges against Julian Assange began increasing, including accusations of sexual misconduct in Sweden. These marked the beginning of intense personal and professional struggles for Assange.
Parliamentary investigation conducted over the summer and the beginning of autumn. It's now clear the oral testimony in support of the statement given by the plaintiff has weakened. This is primarily because a long time has passed since the event took place. Memories fade for natural reasons.
Back in 2012, when Sweden was trying to get him extradited, Assange skipped bail in London and sought asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy. All along he insisted he'd cooperate with the Swedish legal system, but said he feared being sent on to the US, where he might face the death penalty.
It really is the most extraordinary compendium of war that has ever been released during the time of a war.
He'd been criticised by US officials after WikiLeaks published secret cables relating to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, passed on by Chelsea Manning, a former US soldier who spent 7 years in jail for the leak. In May of this year, Julian Assange was removed from the Ecuadorian embassy and arrested. He was later jailed for 50 weeks. He's now in this high-security prison in London while the UK government considers a US extradition warrant. Assange faces allegations of conspiring to hack into a classified computer at the Pentagon and could potentially face a jail sentence of up to 175 years. His legal team insist he simply acted as a journalist and say his health is seriously deteriorating in jail. On Tuesday, Assange briefly appeared at a London court via video link, but full extradition hearings start in February.
2010 was a pivotal year for the so-called War on Terror, nearly a decade after the U.S. invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan. An extraordinary amount of classified documents were published across news channels and websites. The WikiLeaks documents revealed that the Pentagon concealed thousands of deaths and significant collateral damage in Iraq. The Baghdad strike's death toll estimates were higher than the Pentagon had previously claimed. WikiLeaks quickly became a household name. Interviews and images of Julian Assange, the quiet Australian, were shown everywhere on both electronic and press media. He stressed the importance of holding power abusers accountable. Alex Gibney, the Oscar-winning documentary filmmaker, exposes WikiLeaks in his film We Steal Secrets, the story of WikiLeaks. Scene shifts to August 2010. News headlines flash on the screen, interspersed with footage of Assange arriving in Sweden. 7 steps to legal revenge on a cheating lover. That summer, Assange thought he was making a routine trip to Sweden, but it became an unforeseen turning point in his life.
All right, back to our breaking news now from Sweden, where the prosecution authority says it will not proceed with its rape investigation into WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Let's be.
2 women accused Julian Assange of sexual assault, sparking a legal storm. Their accounts led a stand-in prosecutor during Sweden's summer break to consider charges of rape and ofredande, a minor offense translated as annoyance. Assange, who aimed to use the internet to promote openness around the world, now found himself trapped by it.
Sweden is no longer investigating a rape claim against WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. The country's top prosecutor announced Friday that she has decided to discontinue a 7-year probe into the allegation. Authorities first launched their investigation in 2010 after 2 women accused Assange of rape and sexual assault. 2 years later, he sought refuge at Ecuador's embassy in London to avoid being extradited to Sweden over the claims. He's been holed up there ever since. Assange has denied any wrongdoing, and he no longer faces charges in Sweden. But British police said Friday he still faces arrest in the UK for failing to surrender to the court in 2012.
The wild streak was very, very strong in Julian Assange. If you fuck up, I will hunt you down and kill you. Montage. Protesters holding "We support Assange" signs juxtaposed with news anchors branding him a hypocrite. To his allies, it was a calculated smear campaign by powerful forces intent on silencing him. To his critics, it was a damning revelation about the man behind WikiLeaks. Was this justice? Or sabotage cloaked in legality? September 2010, Sweden's Director of Prosecutions reopens the rape investigation, reigniting global attention. Assange leaves Sweden for Britain.
When Julian Assange walked into the Ecuadorian embassy, he left a string of legal troubles at the door, and today another one caught up with him. Sweden's Deputy Director of Public Prosecution reopening an investigation into a rape allegation. The alleged assault took place in Sweden in 2010.
November 2010, Swedish police issue an international arrest warrant for Assange. Critics question if the pursuit is justice or politically motivated retribution. The High Court granted Assange bail, setting the stage for a heated extradition battle.
Julian Assange can appeal to the Supreme Court against his extradition to the United States. The decision is the latest in the WikiLeaks founder's long battle to avoid being sent to the U.S., where he faces charges of espionage. He's wanted for WikiLeaks' publication of hundreds of thousands of leaked documents relating to the Afghanistan and Iraq wars.
Assange maintained his innocence, dismissing the allegations as a baseless smear campaign aimed at discrediting WikiLeaks and silencing its revelations. Interpol issues red warrant of Julian. Jemima Khan turns back on Assange.
I just wanted to say... Sorry, can you stand over here so that everybody can see? I'm not here to make any kind of judgment on Julian Assange as an individual, because I don't know him and I've never met him. I'm here because I believe this is about the principle of the universal right of freedom of information and our right to be told the truth.
Cut to a British courtroom. Assange, surrounded by his legal team, trades tense looks with sparked a global legal battle that shaped the next decade of Assange's life. In a British courtroom, Assange sits with his lawyers at his side, his eyes flicking toward the prosecutors in a silent, tense exchange. What began as a series of allegations quickly spiraled into an international legal showdown, a battle that would dominate the next decade of Assange's life, shaping his future and sparking global debates on freedom, secrecy, and justice.
The WikiLeaks founder heading to one of the most remote U.S. federal courthouses in Saipan to plead guilty under the Espionage Act in exchange for release from prison. The plea deal reached between his lawyers and the U.S. Department of Justice. Assange's brother says he's been lobbying for this for years.
Very anxious, very excited, and he's looking forward to spending time with his family and being free, being able to have the sunshine on his face, hear the birds, go for a swim in the ocean back in Australia.
Assange is accused of conspiring with the U.S. Army intelligence analysts to leak hundreds of thousands of classified documents from multiple countries, according to the DOJ. None more damaging than the vast trove of U.S. records that WikiLeaks posted online starting in 2010, at the height of U.S. wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. The documents revealing detailed U.S. military activities and confidential diplomatic cables.
We hope to correct some of that attack on the truth.
Assange spent the last 5 years in a London prison and before that another 7 years hiding in the Ecuadorian embassy in London to avoid potential sexual assault charges in Sweden that were later dropped. He's expected to reunite with his wife Stella and 2 young sons, both born while he was in captivity.
It will be the first time that I get to see him as a fully free man.
Assange's wife says they'll continue the legal fight and seek a full pardon. We're told they'll soon return to his native country of Australia.
Ellingham Hall, London, September 2011. After a night of what must have been intense and frenetic activity, Assange showed little trace of anxiety as we sat down to talk at Ellingham Hall in September 2011.
Because the system worked. I am free today after years of incarceration because I pled guilty to journalism. I pled guilty to seeking information from a source. I pled guilty to obtaining information from a source. And I pled guilty to informing the public what that information was. I did not plead guilty to anything else. I hope my testimony today can serve to highlight the weaknesses of the existing safeguards and to help those whose cases are less visible but who are equally vulnerable.
Against the backdrop of a fading English summer's day, he spoke with unwavering resolve about his commitment to his cause as shadows stretched across the fields.
So, on the one hand, I can say you're all screwed. You are all totally screwed because everything is going onto the internet. I was with, I won't name him, but one of the most respected investigative journalists in the United States. And he checked his email in Gmail, was logged into Google, and then he goes and starts searching stuff. Well, he's still logged into Google, so you saw his name in his Google searches. And Google keeps a history of everything being searched for. And he was searching for things on the story he was developing, and he's a national security reporter. I mean, you're just screwed. I mean, the amount of information that is being collected on everything that is done.
Just before Cablegate was secretly prepared in early November 2010,
Can you hear me?
Assange gathered his team and declared, "This work is bigger than all of us. It's of such historical importance that we must be willing to risk everything, even imprisonment or worse, to see it through."
But thank you for coming. Thank you for your resolve, your generosity of spirit. On Wednesday night, after a threat was sent to this embassy and police descended on this building, you came out in the middle of the night to watch over it. And you brought the world's eyes with you. Inside this embassy after dark, I could hear teams of police swarming up into the building through its internal fire escape. But I knew there would be witnesses.
In that moment, the weight of their mission hung heavy, as if history itself leaned in to listen. Human Rights Watch raised concerns about the cases of Mohammed al-Zahri and Julian Assange, particularly Sweden's potential transfer of individuals under the watchful eye of the United States. The shadow of global politics loomed large, as every move seemed to echo the delicate balance between justice, diplomacy, and the pursuit of truth. The EU arrest warrant for Julian Assange was seen by some as a revealing moment, exposing the contradictions in the narrative of those who champion human rights. An EU official remarked at the time, "No one is above the law, not even those who claim to fight for transparency and justice." In the clash between ideals and power, Assange's case became a mirror reflecting the complexities of global accountability. Assange knew that extradition to Sweden was just the first step. The real threat loomed much larger waiting on the other side of the Atlantic. Ludlum in the Julian Assange case regarding transparency quotes the Obama speech in Australia Parliament.
Leader Abbott, thank you both for your very warm welcome. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, members of the House and Senate, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for the honor of standing in this great chamber.
The rule of law is transparent. Transparent institutions, and equal administration of justice. Was this just a clever ploy to hand him over to the US, where espionage charges and the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison loomed? June 2012, Assange steps into the Ecuadorian embassy. Protesters chant, journalists shout questions, and the camera lingers as the doors shut behind him. June 19, 2012, Julian Assange officially seeks political asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy in London after exhausting his appeals against extradition. British police immediately station guards outside, ready to arrest him the moment he steps out. In a bold move to escape extradition, Assange gambled everything, turning the Ecuadorian embassy into both a sanctuary and a cage. No drama tenant for newly vacant room. How much safety is too much? At what point does a sanctuary turn into a prison? August 2012, Assange stands on the balcony of the Ecuadorian embassy, speaking to reporters with a defiant tone.
Family, for my children, but for the independence of the UN system. There have been comments from Philip Hammond, the foreign minister of this country, today, saying this changes nothing. Philip Hammond, as an individual, I think he's a perfectly nice person, but we must understand that those comments are merely rhetoric. My children are completely innocent parties to what has happened. They are not in politics. They are not in politics. They are not in the business of holding government to account. They are in the business of being children. And it is time that they had their father back.
Yes, 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 yes. The right for Julian Assange.
And that will happen.
Are you going to stand up for this, mate?
Can someone close that person up? There are good people in the UK government. There are good people in the Foreign Office. There are good people in the British police. There are good people in the Swedish Foreign Ministry. There are good people in the US State Department. There are even good people in the US military. It is partly due to those good people and their ongoing support in a variety of ways that has led to this victory. And those people are wise to understand that history is on their side. And I am very grateful for the assistance that they have given today. Thank you.
This isn't just about me. It's about a war on WikiLeaks, a war on the truth. For 7 years, this embassy became Assange's world. Cut off from sunlight, medical care, and the outside world, his health began to suffer. Yet his defiance never wavered. Trapped but unbroken, could he endure the crushing weight of isolation? The camera shifts to WikiLeaks. Darkened servers hum quietly, protests rage in the streets, and corporate logos like Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal flash by.
Earlier this week, mystery hackers tried to disable the WikiLeaks website. Now, WikiLeaks supporters have begun a global retaliation. Furious that MasterCard had begun refusing to process cash donations intended for WikiLeaks, on Wednesday, angry internet activists launched a massive cyber assault on the company, disabling its website. Visa and PayPal, who've also suspended services to WikiLeaks, are also being targeted. A WikiLeaks spokesman refused to condemn the hackers, instead describing the finance company's actions as unparalleled.
This is very serious and unparalleled that these companies would take action against a media organization like WikiLeaks. But we are looking into ways and means in getting an open-up gateway so people can continue supporting us. We certainly need that at these times.
In Sweden, cyber attackers crashed the websites of the state prosecutor and the lawyer of Assange's 2 female accusers.
I don't know if there is a connection between our website being hacked and the WikiLeaks, but I suppose so. But I cannot say for sure. And I know that the police will investigate what has happened. Also, the prosecution side has.
As the walls closed in on Assange, they also began to tighten around WikiLeaks. The cracks were starting to show. In 2011, the financial lifeline of WikiLeaks was severed. Major payment processors froze transactions, cutting off 95% of its revenue. We've kicked the hornet's nest, and the swarm is upon us. This wasn't just an economic blockade. It was a coordinated attack designed to starve WikiLeaks into submission. Cut back to the dimly lit embassy. Outside, London moves on, indifferent. As Assange became a prisoner within his own sanctuary, WikiLeaks fought to survive. Could the organization outlast the forces trying to silence it? Or would the weight of its mission crush it from within? This wasn't just a battle for one man. It was a global struggle: secrecy versus transparency, control versus resistance.
Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal, i.e. the goal is to have an endless war, not
It fades to black. The sound of rain echoes. A single line appears. Who decides how much truth is too much? And at what cost does freedom come?